morning. I'm looking for Cooper, but I'm not. Cooper's not popping up. Invocation this morning. Guy, I think Chip Vale and Cooper switched on us. Do you know who's up? Do we have a volunteer? Very good. Oh, right. That's what.
Professor.
I brought him back.
Professor.
That's what I asked you, so I now volunteer.
Let's bow our heads for 25 minutes of prayer. Heavenly Father, we bow before you today and we thank you for life. We thank you for the privileges that we have. We are a blessed, blessed people. Thank you for the food that's been prepared for us today and the fellowship here that is always so rich. Help us to be grateful today and help us to invest in the lives of others, remembering that we're born for something greater than ourselves, and we'll give you thanks. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The things we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And David, the Rotary moment that you prepared for today.
A Rotary moment that I prepared.
It's your fifth blessing you've had to give.
Yes, I would have to say, showing up when I started this process, showing up week after week. Somewhere I got kind of lost in the shuffle, so somebody paid for my breakfast for about 10 weeks before we even got the process rolling. So, thanks, guys.
I'll tell you my favorite Rotary moment with David is that when he did his new member talk, and he told us that they have a statue of Benedict Arnold in his town square.
It's a plaque.
A plaque. It's the greatest.
I was just back to St. John. They've taken it down. The building's been renovated.
It's been vandalized.
It's no longer there. Too many American visitors.
Chuck, we got a Sergeant Arms report. There you are. All right, I didn't forget him today.
Yes, we have 34 Gate City Rotarians here, and Justin Plummer is visiting from Guilford.
And I was looking for ASHRAE. If you look around, we're light on women today. I see Cheryl and I see Dorothy. We need to get some more women in Rotary. Erica was supposed to have a birthday anniversary. Did anybody get that passed off to from Erica? Okay, so we'll have a lot of birthdays and anniversaries next week. And a health and happiness report. Did Ashley pass that off to anybody? Has anybody talked to Hal this week?
Wait a minute, Dan. I waited 7 years for a Thursday on my birthday to be sung to.
Oh, yeah!
All right. Yeah. On video. I've been waiting 7 years.
Hold on, let's wait a minute now. Let's let
Nobody
it
else
record.
believes this happened. So hang on a second. All right, you got to do this now. 7 years I've been waiting for this. Okay, you start, Dan. Okay.
Ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly. Happy birthday to you.
It's only I might not be here.
We ought not do that without Robbie. Anyway, has anybody seen or talked to Gail this week, or any reports on how? I have not. Dr. Reynolds.
What time it is?
Friday night starts at 6. I think 6 to 9 or something. I'll be late, but we'll be there. So keep Danny in your thoughts and prayers as well. A couple of notes. Dr. Sears had a great idea about that. He's met people, brought people to visit the club with the Rotary gear.
And he would be here this morning taking the mother out of the
people notice when you got a Rotary shirt on, so I think we were gonna send out a note this week about where to get, if you don't know where to go to the Rotary site to get a shirt. And then we will also get some through the course of the year to merit shirts, so if you work hard enough. Now Cooper's not here, so he blew us off this morning for the invocation, so we'll make Cooper work extra hard.
I do believe, sort of health and happiness, I think Betty is awaiting hip replacement, which is probably helping take care of her right now.
Very good. All right, well, you'll slide today. Are there any other announcements? None? Wait a minute.
You know, Del Meltzer was out with a hip operation. I was wondering if anybody, I've not talked to her. Has anybody heard anything about Dale?
She's done great. I haven't talked to her for a week, but.
Hey, Jim, how
Bring it.
30 spoons.
See, you make a big deal about it.
Hey, 37 years.
Shirley, any membership this morning?
Well, y'all are doing great bringing in new members. Just if you bring someone to the meeting or you have a good person, please email me. If anybody needs my email address, come see me. Do you want to talk about the two prospects, or will they be getting a 7-day letter?
They will be.
You're sitting right here.
No, one of them is.
Yes.
Tom Phoenix, we're considering.
I think Tom Phoenix is a shoo-in. There's another gentleman, Parker Crescenzo. He came with Ashley a few weeks ago. He just opened up a Penn station on Elm and Pisgah, I believe. And he just seems to be a super, super candidate. So Sarah will be sending you the 7-day letter with a little bio on him. And we just need to keep the good members coming. As Dan said, if we could get a few women, that'd be really nice. So work in your fundraising pods to come up with at least one person this year. That would be great. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic. Yeah, I had lunch with him. He is just, we're all going to really enjoy this young man. He's fantastic. Chris is not here today. He didn't send me any particular fundraiser information. But I was looking through the sponsorship. The ticket's not a big deal yet. We all know that those tickets are going to get sold on the back end of this. You know, in September, they're going to start flying. But Chris is working his tail off for this. And if you've sponsored before, or if you've brought a sponsor in before, and you haven't let Chris know, this would be a great week to shoot Chris a note and give him some encouragement and go ahead and commit to sponsor, or bring your folks in for sponsor. So think about sponsoring this week and let Chris know, because he really, you know, he's putting his heart and soul in this, and we want to support him. Chip, you got something today?
I was going to ask, we had a note over that said it was Dale Farlow's birthday too, and I was trying to communicate with him without embarrassing him, but now that it sounds like okay.
Is it Dale?
It is my birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dale. Happy birthday to you.
Dream for 7 years.
All right, so if it has been an anniversary, we've got a piece of cake for you. All right, Chip, are you good?
Oh, I am.
Benefactors,
You want to try to do that today? All right, super. This has been a long time coming. We've tried to get it together, and we have a member that we want to recognize today. And of course, you got to get me here with the right speech, and the right award, in the right hand at the right time, and you got to get this fella here, which we've been fortunate enough to do. Arch Klump, founder of the Rotary Foundation, once said, "No one can tell us where Rotary will be tomorrow, but one thing is certain, what Rotary will be tomorrow depends upon what we Rotarians do today." We have the honor today to express special appreciation to a member of the Gate City Rotary Club who has made a commitment to tomorrow. He has chosen to make a generous gift to our foundation's endowment fund, and he is now among the ranks of foundation benefactors. These are individuals who have informed our Rotary Foundation that they have remembered our foundation in a will, estate plan, or special gift to the endowment fund. In doing so, they support and honor the programs of our Rotary Foundation that make a difference in the lives of others and the world and help make the world more peaceful. It gives me great pleasure and is a special honor to invite Howard Driggers up front.
Honestly, I did that about a year ago.
Yeah, it gives me great pleasure to tell you that Howard Driggers has made such a commitment to the endowment fund. Congratulations on becoming a Rotary Foundation benefactor, a dedicated group of Rotarians who have made a lasting commitment will help others who are less fortunate in the world going forward. We present you with this absolutely fantastic endowment fund certificate, and there are wings there, and we have not tracked them down yet. You will get your wings. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
If there's anything else I forgot, just let me know. Okay, we're going to have Dr. Sears introduce a new old, Pete, I'm sorry, Pete.
Yeah, on the subject of work, we need to do a street cleanup here.
You forgot Happy Dollar.
So we're going to do it on the 29th. Does anybody not know where it is? 8 o'clock in front of, is Cleopatra still there? Okay, so we got to meet at 8 o'clock in front of Cleopatra's. We got to do from Grimsley all the way up to Outback on West Overland. We'll all see you there.
Thanks, Pete.
29th.
Buster, you got a happy dollar?
Do we have happy dollars? I got 2 happy dollars. I'm going to go first. The first one is, I made up at Greensboro Rotary yesterday, and I love this Rotary Club. Thank y'all for letting me in this Rotary Club. That's all I'm going to say about that. Number 2, my daughter got married this weekend. It was the best party I have ever put on. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I hope if you're on Facebook, you can see all the pictures. They've been living in Australia, and now they're going to be moving to Austria, to Vienna. But you know what comes next, baby? Grandpappy Lewis, huh? So, are we looking forward to it? No pressure.
No rush.
No pressure. Anyway, so, Ralph.
2 happy dollars. One is after 40 years of golf, I got my first hole-in-one on Saturday.
All right.
That's the first one. The second one, it was with my 2 sons. Couldn't get better partners than that.
Where, right?
At Starmount, number 10.
It wasn't a windmill.
When are you buying?
Yeah, actually, a funny story, there's an insurance policy you could buy if you're in the hole-in-one club, so there was $350 in the account for drinks, and it was on the men's club championship, so I had 1 beer, and they drank $342 of the money. There was $8 left. They cleaned house. There was actually $18, and somebody heard that, and they said, "I'll have a scotch."
I've got 3. First of all, 30th anniversary. 30th anniversary at the church. We had a big blowout party this weekend, a little bit quieter than your party. Good party still. But celebrating 30 years, 34 years for wedding anniversary. And then much to the shock of my classmates and especially my family, I was asked, or I was honored with being the alumni of the year this year at Evangel University. So,
Which university?
Evangel University.
Oh, wow.
Missouri.
Good job.
So, it's been a big weekend.
2 happy dollars. One was going to be for you, Ralph, for the hole in one. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna switch that one. Happy dollar for Howard Drigger's daughter has done a little charity called Locks for Love, and he shared that story with me, and we're going to include it in our little neighborhood publication, which is really sweet. And then Mike Conrad, happy dollar for he and his grandson. We did a little picture story of Mike's backyard garden, and Dawson was in there. He wanted to make sure he was in the magazine.
Very hot. Yeah, once it comes out, let us know. And we'll make
It already is.
You gotta pay attention.
I was prepared.
I got you.
Very nice, very nice.
Well, Susan and I took our littlest bird. She flew the nest. We took her to Chapel Hill yesterday, moved her in. But that happy dollar is really for Susan because she did all the work raising her to that point. So Mary Catherine was just going to, that's just part of life. But Susan is the one feeling the weight of it today. So.
That's a heavy time.
Oh yeah,
Man.
I'm not going home tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Now she's got you. This is bad. This is bad.
Well, tomorrow we pack Wilder off to NC State. It's going to be a heavy time around our house. But his truck was in the shop for the third time in 3 months. And we went by and picked it up yesterday. And we've known this guy who works in the body shop where the truck happened to be. It wasn't his fault that it was in there. But anyway, and Mike, the body shop guy, he said, well, wait a minute, Wanda wants to say goodbye. She's afraid we're going to lose Wilder as a client. She came out and cried because he's going off to school.
Nobody else? So let me just say, this is 10 times more than they collected at Greensburg Rotary. I think we're at 10 times after your club.
It is my pleasure today to introduce Tom Phoenix. Tom is one of our charter members who is now coming back. I have a small introduction, so I told Tom I'd try not to take more than 15 minutes. So, but he has an incredible vibe. Tom is a principal with the architectural and engineering firm of Mosamayer Phoenix here in Greensboro. He has been as Vice President Director of Engineering. He has a BS in engineering from that school down in Raleigh. And my daddy went to state, so I'm joking. He's a registered professional engineer in not only North Carolina but 6 other states, and my nephew's a graduate of state in engineering, and you know, having your PE is a big deal in the engineering world. He has over 30 years experience in design, operation, and maintenance. Excuse me. He's been an active member, it doesn't really describe it adequately, of ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, since 1982, which is a long time. He has done essentially everything there. He is finishing, I assume, as president at this point, or has just finished maybe as president, and he has done all the other basic jobs in there, from directors to all the different things that you can do. Tom has also been very active in the local community, which is especially impressive. He's a graduate of leadership at Greensboro, which some of y'all I know are, and a member, of course, alumni of that group. He's a past member of the Board of Trustees of Greensboro Children's Museum. Of course, he's a charter member and past president of this club, and he's been very active with the Jimmy V Golf Classic for 19 years at least, and has been a Boy Scout leader. He has a lovely wife, Becky, and 2 kids, Ann and Henry, that are both beautiful and handsome, and I had the privilege to work with them, and I'd like to introduce Tom Phoenix.
Well, thanks. This is really kind of interesting and exciting for me because I had to go before the board 2.5 years ago and resigned my membership to Gate City, which was not something I really wanted to do, but I didn't have a choice. There was no way, given the responsibilities that I had just been elected to maintain things like attendance and all that. So hopefully you'll take me back. Term is up. And in reacquainting with some of y'all, I kept hearing, well, you need to put together a Rotary program because of all your travels and all the stuff you did, and come talk to us about it. And I said, sure, I'll be glad to do that sometime. Tuesday afternoon, I get a phone call from Chris, and he says, Tom, you remember that program we were going to ask you to do? I said, yeah. He said, well, the guy for Thursday just bailed out on me. Can you do it Thursday? So here I am. And in talking about your travels, this has the potential to be in a travel log. Remember when you were growing up and you had to go to your uncle's house and click through the slideshow of their trip to New York City, and oh gosh, we're not going to do that here. that would be really boring. What kept me away from from Gate City was a group called ASHRAE. They are legally known as that long name that Tom just gave you. But our trademark is ASHRAE, and our corporate name is now officially ASHRAE for a lot of reasons. But what in the world is ASHRAE? Well, when people ask me that are not in the business, by the way, where's Dale? Dale's a member. Dale's been a member almost as long as I have. Rusty Hoffman, who was a charter member of this club, used to be a member of Gate City, is a past president of our local ASHRAE chapter here. He's very, very active in ASHRAE. So I'm not alone in Greensboro. We actually have a number of folks. And ASHRAE is this group that nobody ever heard of, but every one of you is affected by ASHRAE every single day. Every day. What does ASHRAE do? Well, first of all, it was founded in 1894. We're real old. And it's not small. There are 54,000 plus members in over 130 countries. That's what I've been doing for the last year. We divided up the world into 14 regions, and there are 178 local chapters in ASHRAE, one of the most active local chapters and one of the most continuously awarded local chapters is right here in Greensboro. And out of our membership, we have a lot of students, a lot of kids in college that are student members of our group, and we have over 300 student branches, one of which is here at A&T. So what do? How do we affect everybody every single day? Well, one of the things we do is we write standards, and those standards are law everywhere in the United States in many cases. There are standards for how to design the air conditioning in this room and how to design the air conditioning in your house. So when you go home and your air conditioning is running, you can thank ASHRAE for figuring out how to make that work and setting the standards for how that's done. The filters that you go buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, if you look on that filter on there, you'll see a MERV rating, MERV 8, MERV 13. That's an ASHRAE standard. That's an ASHRAE test standard to test how much stuff gets through the filter. Those, and we're a whole lot more than just a heating and air conditioning trade organization. We are very involved in everything having to do with the built environment, the indoor built environment. And one of our standards, ASHRAE 90.1, is adopted federally by the National Energy Policy Act as the minimum energy code for every commercial building in the United States. Standard 62 is our ventilation code, and it's a part of the code in North Carolina and almost every state, having to do with, you know, keeping the air fresh in the indoor environment. How many of you have ever heard of LEED? And the whole room lifted their hands. That's good. LEED is a program adopted by the U.S. Green Building Council. USGBC is a partner with ASHRAE on a number of publications, one of which is Standard 189, which is the high performance building standard, green building, so to speak. And the LEED program uses 189 as their template. And so, again, it's an organization that nobody heard of, but you can't go in any building from your house to your office to the grocery store to the hospital to wherever, and you are not affected by what we do. The other thing we do is we conduct basic research. ASHRAE spends, we do not do the research, we don't have our own lab. We used to. We got rid of that about 50 years ago. And now what we do is we contract research with universities and large companies. We spend a little over $4 million a year on research, basic research for lots of things. I could do a whole other program about some of the stuff we're doing. And the other thing we do is we train our industry. And we offer continuing education. We work with colleges and universities. We have a whole group of things that we do, all related to training the industry. And then it's a big network. At our monthly local chapter meeting, we have, anywhere from 35 to 60 people there. It's a pretty tight-knit network. So, now here's the travel log. This isn't a bunch of slides about, gee, this is where we stopped here, and gee, this is where we stopped here. What I tried to do was pull together some really neat, interesting things from the stuff I did this year that I thought you might enjoy. The president of ASHRAE spends his year, you do a lot of, there's a whole progression, and you do a lot before you get to be president. But when you finally get to be president, what you do is you spend your year going around saying, hey, everybody, basically. And again, we have 14 regions, and all over the world. Each region has a regional meeting, and the president has to attend almost all of those. Some he can't get to, but so my year started July 1st last year, and I went to a couple conferences here in the U.S. during the month of July, and then I started going to the regional meetings. And the first one was a really tough job. It was in Honolulu, Region 10 in Honolulu, and so I went there. But then the very next weekend, what we call Region 13 is the Pacific Rim, and we have chapters in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Manila, Singapore, Thailand, I'm forgetting somewhere. And their regional meeting was the next weekend in August in Taipei, Taiwan. I've never been to the Far East. And until then. And wow, I mean, it is really and truly different. And I realized on that trip that I was going to be a culture sponge for the rest of the year, because everywhere I went, it was going to be a little bit different culture, a little bit different geography, everything. This was a neat little trick. In addition to the meetings, and a lot of these places I went to, people say, "Oh wow, you went to this neat place." The room looked just like this, you know. Yeah, I mean, we could have had it over at the Corey Center for all I care, because the conference rooms, no matter where you go in the world, the conference rooms and the meetings look exactly the same, okay? But the people were really neat, and the people were different. And over in Taiwan, they really wanted me to see the country, so I came in kind of a day early, and they took me on this, put me on this little bus along with a lot of other folks, and took us all around Taipei. The biggest city sits on the west coast, and then the rest of Taiwan is mountainous, and it's lots of little villages. And so we rode up through all these villages, and we stopped. This is a little village, and we stopped at this shop. The people wanted us to see this shop, and what we did was we spent like an hour and a half, maybe longer, writing things on these trash bags. And you know, they want you to write what, you know, a wish. You know, I wish I made $1 million a year. Write that on the trash bag, whatever. And then when we got finished, we took them outside, and these people that ran this little shop opened them all up, and they put a little burner underneath all of them, and off they went. And the theory, and the people over there believe this, that, you know, if it launches and it gets out of sight, your wish will come true. And we watched those things all go over the mountains, and away they went. This was really cool. So I came home. I was home for about a week, and I went to Madrid, Spain, for the regional meeting over there. And the welcome party was at the stadium for Real Madrid, which is a soccer team. This Madrid. This, as it turns out, is the most expensive sports team anywhere in the world. The guys that own Real Madrid spend more money on this team than any NFL team, than anything in the world. This stadium holds over 100,000 people, and they're getting ready to expand it. And this was a cool picture. I took this picture because when we walked in, the stadium, the welcome party were up in the skyboxes overlooking the field, and it was at night. And when we walked in, I kept looking at the lights. I said, "What in the world is that?" They got all these portable lights, and they've got the lights turned down. Well, then, as you watch them, what happens is this right here is a little spray mist, and these things actually move very slowly. And so during the night, they keep the grass growing on the field. Those are agrolights, and they spray water. They water the grass, and they have agrolights, and they keep the grass growing 24 hours a day. There's a lot of money inside.
Because then you got to cut it too, right?
So then we came home, and we went back to Europe. We went to London. We met with we have a sister society in London called CIBSE, the Charter Institute of Building Services Engineers. CIBSE is very close with us, and we do a lot of work. And I had to go over there and speak to 2 of their meetings and judge the students, and I mean, it was really cool. And so we went through, we spent a couple days, 4 days actually, in London. We took the train on the Channel. If you've never done that, that's really cool. Over to Paris. This is Buckingham Palace. I'm just throwing up pictures here. And we went to Paris, and we went to the Louvre. See the line of people? We did not go in the Louvre. The wait time was 8 hours. When we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning, the wait time was 8 hours to go through the Louvre. We didn't go in, but I took some pictures. We spent a couple days in Paris only because there was a 4-day period of time between two meetings, and it was dumb to come home and come back. And because the next meeting was in Nuremberg, Germany. This is Nuremberg Castle, there's a show in Nuremberg every year called Chilventa, which is a big equipment show. ASHRAE has a big equipment show at our winter meeting every year. This thing is about the same size as ours, big equipment show, and so we had to go to Chilventa to the show, and we spent 4 days in Nuremberg. That is a really neat place. The Nuremberg sausages are everything you heard about. If you ever get a chance to go. And we went from Paris to Nuremberg on the bullet train. Never done that before either. And they have a display that tells in the car how fast you're going. It's in kilometers per hour, but I calculated it out. We were going 210 miles an hour on a train. It is really something. So then we came home, and I went to several other conferences. One of the neat conferences, I've never been here, which is why I threw this slide up. The AHRI, which is another society that we work very closely with, that's the Equipment Manufacturers Trade Association. When Trane Air Conditioning and Carrier Air Conditioning and Daikin and all those guys, their equipment has to comply with certain standards, and AHRI is the group that sets those standards. They had their annual meeting at the Costa Resort in Carlsbad, California, and I had to go, give my little remarks from ASHRAE to this group. So we spent 3 days in Carlsbad, and along the coast there, we were eating lunch, and I looked down. We stopped to eat some lunch, and I looked off of the balcony of this place where we were eating lunch, and a whole bunch of folks were down there with all these seals. So I crawled down the side of the bank and took pictures of the seals. That's kind of neat. So halfway through the year is our big meeting. Our winter meeting is our biggest meeting. That's when our equipment show we have, and the meeting moves around a little bit. Every year it's in a different place. This year it was in Chicago. It was the largest attended ASHRAE show ever. We had 63,000 people come to our equipment show. And ASHRAE's headquarters is the old Palmer House Hotel in Chicago. Some of y'all, Palmer House is very historic. It's been there since the 1800s. And you do get a few perks when you do this job. One of those perks is when we go to the Palmer House, I get to stay in the suite upstairs. And that suite is really special. It's been written up in lots of magazines, et cetera, because they have several original pieces of art hanging in the suite for the people that are in the suite. This picture was in my bedroom. This is an original Claude Monet. Wow. Sitting right over my bed. And I went, ooh, I wonder if I could just take that home with me. But that's really, really something. So as soon as that meeting was over, I've been hearing from everybody, okay, your year's half over, you're going to start winding down. No, it got worse. A few weeks after that meeting, I spent 2 weeks back in the Far East. We started in Shanghai, China. China is an interesting place. I know you spend a lot of time over in that area. I've never been anywhere like China. And people have been asking me, what's your favorite place? What's your least favorite place? I'm not going to make bad comments about anything, but China is an interesting place. You need to watch yourself the whole time you're there. It's like the wild, wild west. And it's one of the things that's interesting about going to China. This is not one picture, this is two pictures. I was trying to, this is looking out of our hotel. And I took a picture and then took a picture. So they're not quite lined up. 8.5 years ago, there was nothing there. This was farmland on the outskirts of Shanghai. And I have the local guys talk about the history. That's how fast China is growing. And you wonder about all these high-rise buildings going up in 6 weeks and all this. I mean, holy smokes, they are really, So, well, there's a big expo. They have a huge equipment expo over in Shanghai, which is the reason we went. And we have a big ASHRAE booth and all that. And so I spent 4 days in Shanghai. Then we went to Japan. Oh, I did want to show you this. One of the things we did when we were in Shanghai, which we do a lot when we're traveling, is go see the students. And this is the ASHRAE chapter, the student branch at Tongji University in Shanghai, which is the largest technical university in China. And I spoke, I made a presentation to the class, and these kids are really excited about things. I mean, it's really neat to go, with students like that are really excited about what they're doing. Okay, I need to speed up. We went to Japan. So we spent 4 days in Japan, in Tokyo, and in Osaka, and in a little mountain town called Takashima. We were the guests of Daikin. Daikin is the largest air conditioning company in the world. They really hosted us. They have a company retreat in Takashima, which is up in the mountains. They keep adding on to it, and they just built this new conference center with 10 bedrooms, which does not describe, this is really how the other half lives. These bedrooms were all their 10 suites, big suites, and they put us all up in the suites. So I got to show you this video here. I could not do this presentation. So when I'm in the suite, and I went to the restroom.
Oh, wait a minute, is this gonna be the video, Tom? No, I'm not sure I wanna see this.
There's no cat. There's no cat in the shower.
I can't figure out how to make this play. Oh, watch this.
Tom, can you move up? There's no cat gonna come out of there, is it?
When you open the door to the restroom and you walk close to the toilet, the lid lifts up. The first time
There are
it
so
happened-
many surprises in Asian bathrooms.
The first time it happened, it scared me to death. I went, whoa, wait a minute. So then I had to get my phone and make a picture of it. So then we left Japan. We chartered a new chapter in Japan. I gotta speed up here. We chartered a new chapter in Japan, and we left there and went to Seoul, Korea. This is looking out of my hotel room in Seoul. And what we did in Seoul was this is our newest chapter. We chartered a new chapter of folks in Seoul, Korea. So then we came home. I was home for about a week, and I went to Athens, Greece. And I threw this in here because I'm really concerned about all of my friends over there. One of the nice things about this job is that I made lots of friends that I hear from, emails and letters and phone calls that I'll probably have for life. This little girl right here is the president of our local ASHRAE chapter in Greece, in Athens. And she's also the leader of this traditional dance group, and they performed for us at the welcome party. This is Greece. They took me up to the highest point, and you look back down, this is Athens. And if you look closely, that's the Acropolis. And then we went to the Acropolis, and there's, you know, and but going there was really sad. If you go through the town, every other business is boarded up. The road out to the airport, everything is shut down. Car dealerships, hamburger places, everything is shut down. It's really, and then the week after I left there is when they collapsed, and you know, they closed the ATMs, and I mean, they are really in a mess, and I'm really concerned about my friends there. So, save the best trip for last, and it really was the end of a wonderful way to close the year. Early on in my schedule, they booked me to come to Milan, Italy, to do some presentations at Expo. The World Expo is currently in Milan. It's there until October 30th, 1st. So if you get a chance in the next 8 weeks, I mean, it's really neat. You know, remember the World's Fairs that used to come around? This it's now called the World Expo. The World Expo this year is the theme is feeding the planet, and it's all about food. And so they asked, I went over there, I made 2 presentations to the Expo and 1 presentation to a United Nations group who was holding a conference at Milan's Polytechnic Institute in Milan, Italy. All this was in Milan. And this is just the slide from one of my presentations. But here's the neat part. About 2 weeks, maybe, 3 weeks maybe, before I was supposed to go, we set this trip to Milan up. I get a phone call from the group we work so closely with in Italy, our sister society. And they said, hey, can you come early? I said, sure, what do you, I can arrange my schedule, I guess. And they said, well, we have an opportunity to go to Rome, and thought you might be interested. We have arranged some visits, private visits to the Vatican. And I went, oh, wow, okay, well, I'll go do that. So I changed my flight schedule, and I'm coming into Rome now, and are going to meet these guys. And about a week before I go, they called me again. They said, you got your presentation and paper ready? And I went, what? And they said, well, oh yeah, didn't you know what we're doing here? And I said, no. Well, long story short, the Vatican had just completely remodeled the Sistine Chapel. And the biggest part of the remodeling is putting in a new air conditioning system because the artwork was beginning to deteriorate, and they had to, because of all of the humidity and all of that. So they wanted the president of ASHRAE to come speak at the dedication ceremony for Capella Sistina. And I said, thanks for telling me this, guy. You know, I could have done something better than, you know, but so long story short, we had a dedication ceremony for the new Sistine Chapel, Capella Sistina, which is what it is in Italian. And we visited the chapel. I took a bunch of pictures. This is the most amazing, you know, you think about Michelangelo laying on his back doing this 500 years ago. It's unbelievable. And then they fed us dinner. They took us on a tour of the Vatican Museum. They fed us dinner. in the middle of the Vatican Museum. I'm standing in your way, John, I'm sorry. In the middle of the Vatican Museum, they fed us dinner, and this is what, I'm sitting right here. I just turned around and took this picture. I mean, these are 1,000-year-old statues, and you're eating dinner, and holy smokes, it's really something. That was the first night. Then we took the bullet train up to Milan. This is the Italian, the best exhibit, as you might expect, at the expo is the Italian exhibit. This is the Italian exhibit. And this guy, Livio, is my counterpart with our Italian society. And they took us upstairs from top to the roof of this exhibit for dinner. And part of the Italian exhibit is this thing, which I'm now on the roof taking this picture, is a thing called the Tree of Life. And I thought it was kind of a strange looking thing. Well, we stayed up there eating dinner and it got dark, so that then this thing starts to light up. And it is really something. And when it lit, it looks something like this. This is also a bit of a video.
Looks like lighting Christmas balls.
This is, I mean, my video lasts for like 15 minutes. This is the end. This was the finale. You see all the laser lights and the little images they were making. And this is really something. So that was my last overseas trip. I came home. Our annual business meeting is this year happened to be in Atlanta. It moves around every year also. And this year it happened to be in Atlanta, where we change guard. So we have a banquet and a kind of going away party every year for the outgoing president. So when I knew my going away party was going to be in Atlanta and being sort of close to home, I called my old friends, the Band of Oz, and I said, guys, can you come down and play for my party? And they did, and we had a hell of a party. I mean, I had all the young members up on the stage with them. I mean, it was fun. So that's kind of what I did. Somebody asked me the other day about the statistics, and this was all in a report I had to give to the board. I was out away from Greensboro in hotel rooms 142 nights last year. I ran up just a shade under 300,000 air miles. You know, it was fun. It was a full-time fun. You know, so I'm out of time. I'm 4 minutes over here. So, and I know the Rotary rules. So, thanks for listening.
Bucket. I got that. The governor of California called and asked to see if Tom would quit lighting things on fire in Taiwan.
Yeah.
They're floating over.
Yeah. This time last year was when I was there, and I don't know if you saw the news, but last week they had a major typhoon come through there and just level that place. So I'm glad I'm not going this year.
Draw force.
I can do this because I didn't buy a ticket.